So good morning everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed your breakfast and have a lot of energy to listen to me. So today I'm going to talk about digital transformation and how technology can help you grow your business. I will start with a quick overview about myself. So 25 years ago I started my career as a computer programmer and a database administrator. Then I decided to challenge myself and I moved to the IT support services. I work for a big company in Portugal and I helped to set up and manage their IT department. A few years later, when I was in my 30s, I decided that I wanted to challenge myself and start my first company. And the aim was provide the professional IT support, but this time for small and medium companies. 10 years ago was the time for my wife to challenge me, and we moved to the UK. I got a couple of jobs in IT companies around in Cambridge, and in 2012 I decided, well, it's the time for me to start my second company. So with a budget of £3,000, I bought a laptop, an iPhone, a few cloud solutions, and from the table of my kitchen I started Clear IT Solutions. Today I have three nice chaps working with me. We have 55 clients on monthly contracts, we support 350 users, and we maintain 25 servers. We are Microsoft Silver Partners and an award-winning company. As you probably noticed, the world is changing. The shops in High Street are closing almost every day. Why? Because we are buying more and more online. The sales of newspapers is going down year upon year. Why? Because we are reading our news on our mobile devices. In the last decade, thousands of pubs closed their doors. Why? Because we use social platforms to interact with our friends and family. A few years ago, we used to take pictures, have to wait a couple of days to see the results. Now we take pictures with our phones and we can share immediately with everyone in the world. So what happened is the world is moving from an analog world to a digital world in almost any aspects of our lives. And why is that? I think for two reasons. So the first one, we are bang on an age revolution. So industrial age has gone and we are on the information revolution. And that starts in 1950 with the development of the transistor. The second one is we are also going to a generation transition. So baby boomers and Generation X, I'm Generation X, we grow up on this analog world. While millenniums and Generation Z, they grow up in the digital world. So that creates a gap, a cultural gap between these generations. So baby boomers, they own their houses, they own the car, they are proud owners of their music collection, and probably they will have a timeshare somewhere in the world. While millenniums, they rent their houses, they lease their cars, they pay monthly for their music, and every year they go to different places through Airbnb. So that is a massive difference between these generations. So the first ones, they like to own things. The second ones, they like to access to things. As this gentleman said many years ago, the only constant in life is change. And this gentleman also said that is not the strong or the most intelligent that survive, but the one that can adapt the most to the change. Who remember these brands? So Kodak in the 90s was probably the biggest company in the world, very equivalent of what Apple is today. And where are they? They're gone. Why? Because they decide to ignore the digital photography. Blockbuster was in every street of our corners, of our towns. Where are they now? They just disappeared. Why? Because also decide to ignore the streaming and video digital systems. So that is the problem with change. Change creates this fear on us. We fear that our children, they are not going to grow up in the same world that we did. We fear that we're going to lose our jobs. But the problem is, this is just a fear, this is an emotion. It's not real. Because there's a lot of things going on and a lot of opportunities. I don't know if you guys know, but in the 1960s, the UK was the most productive country in Europe. Unfortunately now, we are on the bottom of the G7. Italy, France and Germany, they are above us. A French worker takes 4 days to do the same work that a British worker do in 5. So they are 20% more efficient than us. And you know how many bank holidays they have? They have 11, and we have 8. Also, they have an hour and a half lunch breaks where they go and have a nice meal, probably a glass of wine. And we have cucumber sandwiches in front of our computers. Something's wrong. But in the UK, we have 5.7 million companies. And the micro and the small companies represent almost 99%. But if we look at the profits, so the micro and the small combined have an average annual profit of £8,000, while the medium, that is just 1%, have an average annual profit of £200,000. It's a huge difference between these two groups, and I think it's because the small and medium, they are not being able to scale and grow quickly. And why is that? Because of this word solopreneurship, which basically is a one-man band. And entrepreneurship business is not a solo game, it's a team game. If you don't have a team, you're not going to be able to scale, period. But as you also can see, since 2000 to 2018, the growth of number of companies in the UK grew almost 50%. So what is driving this? What is driving this is this new age that we are living, the information age. Every time that we go from an age to another one, more jobs are created, more opportunities are created. So we never had so many people in the workforce as we have today. And what is driving this is technology. Imagine technology like a fast train. So the fast train is just leaving the train station, so it's moving quite slowly at the moment, but sooner or later it's going to take the full speed. So now is the time for business to jump on this technology train and get up to date, because if they don't do it now, probably it's going to be too late. But something that we need to be careful is technology is not the answer for everything. Okay? Technology is a tool. So you don't go to your hardware shop and buy this lovely screwdriver because it's brand new and everybody is buying, to then go home and knock a wall. No, isn't it? It's not the right tool to knock down walls. So what is important is systems. You need to combine technology with systems. And let me just give you an example that happened to me. So last year for my birthday, I had the best present ever. So since I'm a young kid, I'm a big fan of a car, Porsche 911. I know it's sad. But my wife gave me a Porsche day experience in the Porsche Center in Silverstone. So here I am driving this lovely car with a professional Porsche driver sat next to me. He just let me go for a couple of laps, so I was enjoying. And then he said, okay, so let's stop and tell me, what's going in your mind when you are approaching and doing the corners? And I told him, well, I brake hard before the corner, then I look to the apex, these red and white dots here, and I try to put the car in the right trajectory, and then when I feel that the car is not gonna spin, I will start accelerating. I said, okay, it's not bad. So, but if I teach you a system that is gonna work always, are you not gonna rely on your feelings to start accelerating? You say, yes, please tell me. So what he told me is something very simple. He just told me, when you are leaving the corners, when you start to unwind the wheel, the more you unwind, the more you accelerate, the car will never spin. So here I am, driving the same car on the same environment, and I'm doing faster and faster every lap. Why? Because he gave me a system. Now I'm more confident, I'm more in control of the situation, and I can perform better. So how can we help business owners to achieve these things? So I've been working with business owners for the last 15 years, and I come out with this method that helps to move companies through digital. And it's 5 steps. So the first step is the conscious stage. Basically, you guys need to understand what is your company, what's your processes, what's your systems, what's your workflows. Then we need to go to the learn stage, where we go out there and look for the right tools and the right technologies for your company. Then we need to put the plan together, so we go to the engineer, and then we need to achieve, so we need to implement a plan, because there's no point to have a plan unless we implement it. And the last one is resources, so we need to make sure that we know all the resources and what's the relationship between them. So I create a new website where I have a lot of information that I'm giving for free for business owners to try to help them to achieve this digital transformation. So I have a couple of documents that you can go there and download them. One is about the fears that business owners have related with technology. The other one is what the best practices to have when adopting new technologies. And I'm also developing a scorecard it's still going, but I think in the end of February we'll be ready. So this is going to be like 40 questions that you guys can answer the questions, and based on those answers I will create a report and I will send that for you also for free. After that, if you want, you can come to one of my strategy sessions where I'll analyze this report with you, and I will help you to create a strategy for you guys to move forward. I'm also working on a book, but that's going to be for later. So I think by now you guys have noticed that I'm quite passionate about technology. But for me, what is more important is not the technology per se, but the impact that that technology can have on our lives. So my father was a workaholic. He was a graphic designer. He was a very good one. He worked for big international companies. And I don't have many memories of him when I was a kid. So I don't remember to play football with him in the garden. He didn't teach me how to ride a bike. I didn't watch my first football game with him. So don't get me wrong, he was a lovely man. I love him a lot. He was very nice, but he just wasn't present. So when I start my company, my goal was also to not do the same mistake and probably have a more balanced work life. Not just for myself, but also for my employees and for my clients. So I come across the global goals from UN, from United Nations, and they got together in 2015, I believe, and they come with these 17 goals to help improve the world by 2030. So I decided to focus on goal number 8, that is decent work and growth, and economic growth. So I partnered with Buy One, Give One, and what I'm doing is, for every document that you guys download for my website, you guys will help me to contribute to a beekeeper farmer. For any scorecards that you guys do, we will be helping to plant a fruit tree. And for each book I sold, we will be helping to plant a mango tree. So this is going to also help the number 1 and the number 15. So if you want to help me to achieve a better world, please go to my website, register there, and have access to my free content. Thank you very much.